Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host, Boise, and welcome to another episode of Raw vs SmackDown, where I look at both Raw and SmackDown for this week, and I give them a score out of 5 to see which show is the better show. So with all that said and done, before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you can keep notified with all our videos here. And let's just hit the music. So we started off this show with just a basic opening where we had Triple H come out. He talks about having 2 triple threat matches where the winner of both matches will have a singles match, and the winner of that match will become the #1 contender. Then Seth Rollins comes out. They mention who's going to take part in the match. You had AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, Baron Corbin, The Miz, and Drew McIntyre all taking part in these triple threat matches. This was a standard opening to the show. Pretty much had the fans going mad because Seth was in his home state, and obviously huge pop for him. But everything else kind of felt a bit flat. You had all the #1 contenders pretty much come out, talk about why they're going to win, and it just went on from there. Again, like I stated, it's a standard opening to the show. It just felt a bit lazy in my opinion, mainly because it's good you're giving these guys TV time, but it just didn't add anything to these matches. It was just, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. And because the match, one of the first triple threat matches, were going to start straight away, we didn't get the usual brawl. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5, mainly because, again, it felt lazy for a big show like this. So the first of these triple threat matches, we saw AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus the United States Champion Samoa Joe. And I know what you guys are thinking, hold on, what is Samoa Joe doing on Raw when the Superstar shake-up ended last week? Well, WWE gave us an answer on that. They went, shut up, don't ask any questions, and just enjoy the match. Okay, yeah, no explanations at all on Raw why certain superstars from SmackDown were still moving over to the Red brand. But the match itself was really, really good. Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe and AJ Styles just constantly have chemistry. We know Samoa Joe and AJ can work together. Look at their category of work in TNA, and you look at what Rey Mysterio can do. The guy is legitimately found a fountain of youth because he's pulling off moves that he couldn't pull off 20 years ago, and he still looks young. He still looks younger than some of the guys he's wrestling. That's just mad. That is just mental, is that? But yes, the match itself was absolutely brilliant. Rey Mysterio pulling off absolutely fantastic moves. Samoa Joe coming off feeling like a beast every single time. Every single time Samoa Joe felt like he was getting closer and closer to winning the match, AJ Styles or Rey Mysterio kept on stopping him. And then obviously at the end, AJ hits the Styles Clash on Rey Mysterio on top of Samoa Joe to win the bloody match. What a way to win the match, may I just add. Let's just appreciate that by itself. And I'm going to score this match a 3.5 out of 5. Just a great match to start off the show. Next up, we had Naomi versus Billie Kay. This was like a bit of a rematch from what we got last week, where we saw Billie Kay and Peyton Royce taking on Bayley and Naomi. This week it's just Naomi because Bayley's moved on to SmackDown, and I'm really going to rant a little bit here. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are our current women's tag team champions, and they just constantly lose. And it just felt like this is another match where, let's be honest, Naomi's just started on Raw. Why are we having Naomi taking on the tag team champions in a singles match? Makes no sense. She doesn't even have a tag team partner on Raw right now, and yet we're having these type of matches. It just feels like they're trying to push Naomi into the tag team division when it really shouldn't be that way. Let's be honest, we should have Naomi going for singles gold. The match itself though was luckily very short, and Naomi did get the victory, but like I stated, it feels like they are pushing Naomi into the tag team division, and it just doesn't feel like it's the right idea in my opinion. So for this, I am going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars, because neither the match or how they're building up Naomi or how they're using the women's tag team champions feels right. Next up, we had Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. This is the second of the triple threat matches for the number 1 contenders match at the end of a show. This was again a very good match. You had Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, who are long-time partners. They've been teaming up for some time, and The Miz came across as legitimately the big babyface in this match, and it was great. The Miz sold everything which was happening to him. Drew McIntyre and, you know, Baron Corbin just working on The Miz. I mean, they started betraying each other. Drew McIntyre feeling more and more dangerous each and every part of this match, because you just didn't know what was going to happen. Certain parts they started betraying each other, then The Miz started getting back into the match a little bit, and then they started having to work together. It was really well worked. I actually felt that this match was slightly better than the Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe match, mainly because it just felt like a traditional babyface versus heel match. McIntyre did hit the Claymore kick. It looked like he had it in the bank that he'll be going to face AJ in the main event of Raw that night, but no. Baron Corbin comes out of nowhere, chucks him out of a ring, pins The Miz, and Baron Corbin is going on to the main event of Raw for the number 1 contenders match. For me, this actually makes a lot of sense. Baron Corbin is the one man who has the most momentum going from WrestleMania, so for him going into the main event of Raw just makes sense. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. Next up, we had Sami Zayn address the WWE Universe. This was a really good Sami Zayn promo. I really enjoyed it. Very different to what we've ever got in a heel promo before. It pretty much stated that he's not bitter. He's not an angry person. He's actually very happy. It's just because he has to be in the WWE Universe. He talks about when he heard he was coming back and he felt dread. He even talks about how was it because of how the corporate way of WWE was run, that he doesn't really agree with. But no, that really didn't. It wasn't that what was affecting him. Was it the superstars with, you know, big egos which was making him feel bad about coming back? No, it was us, the WWE Universe. The trolls like myself who do all these, you know, YouTube videos talking about wrestling, we're the ones who make it bad for, you know, make his experience in WWE the worst. And he was showing slides of his Instagram travels where he was in Sweden and Germany, all around the world in Europe, and that he was like, look at that, look how happy I look. And I was just like, Sammy looks really happy in those photos. But it's a great different way of cutting a promo, and the ending was just fantastic. If you haven't seen the promo, stop this video, watch Sammy's video promo, and just you will understand what I'm talking about. Just a great promo from Sami Zayn, really cutting. It's going to give a lot of heat to Sami. He's definitely building himself as one of the most refreshing type of heels we have on WWE TV right now. So for me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Next up, we had 2 new superstars to Raw. We had Cedric Alexander from 205, who finally made his Raw debut, and Cesaro. That's right, Cesaro is gone to Raw. That's right, WWE have decided to break up the best tag team, one of the best tag teams the company has, and send Cesaro to Raw. Okay, don't know why, but they have. No mention again of why Cesaro is on Raw now. It was just, we've got Cesaro, he's on next, and it was like, what? That's it. That's no mention of why he's on the show now. Okay, let's continue. The match itself was decent. Cedric Alexander really kinda showing off a little bit of his skills, but this was more of a what can Cesaro do type of match, and it is a bit of a shame. You kind of built up Cedric Alexander really well did Raw. There was 2 really good promo videos of showing him, in 205, and then he finally gets to Raw and he loses to Cesaro, a superstar I don't think anyone was technically expecting to leave SmackDown, especially with no explanation like we got. So the match itself was it was nothing, and I feel really bad for Cedric Alexander. Mustafa Ali had a huge, push when he came to SmackDown Live, while Cedric just feels like he's just been straight away pushed right into the gutter, and most of the focus is now on Cesaro, someone who we're kind of used to working in a tag team division now. He's now a singles competitor again. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. Next up, we were supposed to have the Viking Raiders. That's right. So we've gone from War Machine to War Raiders to the Viking Experience, and now we kind of compromised a little bit and just got Viking Raiders versus none other than the Lucha House Party. But the match never even started. The Viking Raiders just absolutely devastated the Lucha House Party, and it was a no contest. Again, it's a good way to build up this heel tag team. Just get them out, have them have matches, or not even start the matches, and just devastate teams until they get pushed for the Raw Tag Team Championship. It just feels a bit weird because they're not wearing the NXT tag team titles with them, which they should do. They should go, we are already tag team champions in this company, but they're just not doing that. So it's a bit weird, in my opinion, that you're mentioning them all the time on TV as, the NXT tag team champions, but they're not wearing the gold coming out. For me, this is just a standard way of building up a heel tag team. We've seen this before with several teams like AOP and, the Bar when they first died. So it's kind of like paint by numbers on how to push a heel tag team. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. I think that's a fair score for a very standard segment. Next up, we had Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox. Now, before the match started, Becky Lynch got a decent promo where she talks about Lacey Evans, pretty much describing her as Charlotte 2.0. Talk about how she uses her influence with management just like Charlotte does. And yeah, it was a decent promo from Becky Lynch. It got straight onto the match itself. So Lacey Evans did come out. Didn't really duo with that part of the match. Then Alicia Fox came out. They had their match. Again, Alicia Fox, do we really need her on TV? Do we actually need her in the company anymore? Because let's be honest, we've got a lot better wrestlers like Nikki Cross. This is the thing. This is, again, I don't understand, where Alicia Fox has not been on TV for some time. She's been off TV for ages. She looked extremely rusty. The match itself was just terrible against Becky Lynch. Becky did win. Alicia Fox, she didn't even see a tap out. It's just like you focus on Becky Lynch. Lacey Evans comes out, women's right. Becky gets stumbled. She tries to get back up. Another women's right, and that's it. You kind of get building heat on Lacey Evans, which is the right thing to do. But having a throwaway match against someone like Alicia Fox, who no one even cares about. Just, again, do we really need to see Becky Lynch wrestle these type of matches? I don't think we do. So the smart work there was the Lacey Evans bit. So showing the women's right can be pretty much pulled off at any time is smart. But the match itself, the promo felt a bit lazy. I'm going to give it a 1. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 because everything else, apart from one little bit, was worth watching. Next up, we had Ricochet versus none other than the newly packaged Robert Roode. Now, okay, so we're not calling him Bobby Roode anymore. It's now Robert Roode. I was talking to some friends of mine who are very much in the know of TNA wrestling. I've only watched bits and bats, but apparently Bobby Roode was called Robert Roode in TNA before Beer Money, and then that's when he changed to Bobby Roode. But yeah, okay, that's fine. I will accept that if it's still canon in some way, even if it's from another company, that's fine. But I just don't understand why we pretty much have Rick Rude back in, like, you know, Rick Rude's back. Bobby Roode looks exactly like Rick Rude. The mustache was awesome. I've got to say that is a pretty goddamn mustache from Robert Roode, but he just looks exactly like Rick Rude. So yeah, that's it. That's that bit talked about. The match itself was an interesting booking decision by writing, I must say. Mainly because you looked at it and you went, okay. Ricochet didn't really get to show off too much. He did some good moves, but at the end of the day, it wasn't too much. Bobby Roode did get the win, a surprise win. I think this is more management trying to rebuild Bobby Roode, but on the cost of someone like Ricochet, who's, let's be honest, one of the best hot commodities you've got on Raw. Feels like he's kind of lost the peg. And does this mean we're going to see Ricochet kind of stumble down on the cards into mid-card territory? I hope this isn't the case, but I've just got a bad gut feeling that this could happen. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. This moves us on to the main event of the night, and where we saw AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin for the #1 contender. Now, this was an actually decent match. AJ did really well. Baron Corbin was selling fantastic. This is, again, I keep saying this, and I feel a bit weird saying it, but it just shows Baron Corbin is getting better and better in the ring. I remember watching Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles for the US title on SmackDown Live a few years ago, and the improvement from that to what we got on Raw in the main event actually felt right. But again, Baron Corbin coming out of WrestleMania with the most momentum, going against AJ Styles, one of the biggest faces on Raw. Again, it didn't feel out of place for a main event on Raw. The match itself was pretty much, you knew who was going to win once it was these two. If it was Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles, I think it would have been a little bit different. I think most people would have gone, you know what, this could go either way. But no, AJ did get the win. He hit the phenomenal elbow, beats Corbin. Seth Rollins comes out, him and AJ shake hands, and you can tell AJ's shouting. You can hear the music, but you hear AJ going, I'm coming for the title. AJ will be facing Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank in a couple of weeks' time for the Universal title. I think a dream match which we were all expecting at WrestleMania, but if we get it sooner, why not? If we could see a hell of a match, how will it end? Who knows? But will one of these two turn heel in the process of their match? That's my theory. So for me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. A solid main event. I'm also now going to talk about the promos which happened on Raw. Now, I usually leave this to the end of the videos, but I'm going to keep the Raw promos onto Raw segment and the SmackDown on the SmackDown. So we did get 2 really good promos on Raw. We got the Usos and the Revival promo, which was absolutely brilliant. The Usos were being interviewed. They were talking about, it was just after the Viking Raiders had finished doing what they were doing, and they were getting interviewed, and they talked about, look, we locked down SmackDown Live, now we're on Raw, we're going to show people why we're the best tag team in the world. The Revival come out, they start talking to them, the Revival say, look, you were the best tag team on SmackDown, no doubt, but this is Raw and we're the best tag team. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully we will see the Revival versus the Usos soon, because I would love to see that, but it should be for the Raw tag team titles, because end of the day that feud will still be good, but having the titles on the line will just make it more exciting. But right now the Revival and the Usos don't seem anywhere close to those Raw tag team titles. To be honest, the War Raiders are the only team who feel like they're legitimately close to it. Now let's talk about the promo which everyone was talking about after Monday Night Raw. The Firefly Funhouse segment by Bray Wyatt. This was no more than creepy and weird at its best. Some people just, I spoke to some people, they really enjoyed it like I did. I thought this was a really good dark way of bringing Bray Wyatt back in a colourful, like, kids show kind of host. but you know, it's still like, this is Bray Wyatt, it's gonna go creepy any second, which it did. And others were like, oh, I hate this, I hate what they've done to Bray Wyatt, how could they do that to him? And you go, look, that's, you know, it kind of works. Bray Wyatt can be that manipulative. You kind of think, oh, he could be a nice guy, and then no, the darkness returns, you know, that there's always the darkness surrounding Bray Wyatt, and it just works for me. Whoever wrote this, and let's be honest, if this would really work, I think this could really work for Bray Wyatt, this Firefly Funhouse bit. If what they do is they keep Vince away from it, they allow Bray Wyatt a hell of a lot of control on making this his own project, and they just stick to that, it will be absolutely brilliant. So for the Usos promo, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. I think standard promo, really excited, it could build up to a good feud, but the Bray Wyatt segment, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 because it just works so well. Now turning to SmackDown Live for this week. So SmackDown started with Shane O'Mac. Starts talking about how Roman Reigns attacked his father, ironic after what he did to The Miz. Again, it feels like this really, it's a standard promo. He talks about how Roman attacked his father. He calls out Roman Reigns. He says that I could find you, I could suspend you, I could fire you, but no, we're going to settle this in the ring. A little bit like the original, you know, babyface Shane O'Mac would do. We settle this in the ring. Roman comes out, he has a mic, he just throws it. Shane throws it, they start beating down on each other. Roman's really in control by this point. Then Elias runs out. Elias helps Shane O'Mac. Him and Shane just beat down on Roman. Again, you can see where this is going. This is definitely going to Roman Reigns, trying to make him the big baby face of SmackDown. We've seen it before, and let's be honest, has it really worked before? No. This is, again, I understand the crowds are excited to see Roman on SmackDown. Let's just keep it that way. I just don't understand this feud between him and Elias. Later on in the show, I'll put in this bit now. Elias did challenge Roman to challenge Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank in a singles match. This will be, again, there's only one outcome. Roman's going to win this. Elias hasn't really had a big number of big matches, but who knows, the writers might pull off a shocker and have Elias win with, you know, Shane's help, because it seems like Shane is really behind the Elias factor on SmackDown Live. So with all this thrown together, I am going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. That's a very, very bland way to start the show, but at least we got a match from SmackDown Live for Money in the Bank. Next up, we had Finn Balor versus Andrade. That's right, Andrade Cien Almas has moved back from Raw after a week of being a Raw superstar. But at least one thing by SmackDown creative team, and they were actually smart on this one, they mentioned that the superstar shakeup is technically still going on this week alone. At least they mentioned it, at least they did. It was a really bad explanation, but at least they go, oh yeah, by the way, it's still going on for this week as well. And it was like, at least they mentioned it. They didn't just try and ignore it like Raw did and just continue the show. No, SmackDown, they mentioned it. They said the superstar, and they didn't just mention it once, they mentioned it all night, but the superstar shakeup was still going on this week. Thank you. They're actually putting effort in. A little bit, it's a small amount, but it's still effort. So I'm happy with that. The match between Andrade and Finn Balor was so much better than what we got last week between the two. The chemistry, the sync was all there. Both guys were able to pull off some fantastic moves, showcasing their technical abilities, which was always good. Zelina Vega tried to get involved in the match. She did cost Andrade the match. She tried to jump off the top of the ring. Andrade caught her. Finn managed to get him into, hitting position, and he hit the coup de grace and won the match. Finn got a clean win, but is this the end of the Andrade versus Finn feud? I hope not, because it was a damn good match to start off the show. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, because damn, good match. Next up, we had Peyton Royce versus Kairi Sane. Again, this is all from what happened last week when Kairi hit Peyton Royce with the insane elbow in their tag team match. to win the match. So Peyton was saying that she was dehydrated, she wasn't ready, and that's why she lost. The match itself was like 2 minutes long, with including, you know, intro music. But my God, what's the point of this match? Pretty much it's what I stated in the Raw segment. I'm going to state again. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are our Raw and SmackDown Women Tag Team Champions. They are the Tag Team Champions of both brands. Yet, they're treated like no other than jobbers half the time. Majority of the time, they are just there to get beaten for other talent to look good. They're champions. Treat them like champions. You wouldn't treat the Intercontinental Champion like this. You wouldn't treat the US Champion like this. So why is the Women's Tag Team Champions treated like this? It just makes no sense. The match was literally 2 minutes long. Kairi hit another insane elbow. She got the win, and that was it. Absolution, former Absolution members, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville came out to stare down Paige and her new team of, you know, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Billie Kay and Peyton Royce did nothing. They could have attacked them and made it feel more, give them more heat as a heel tactic, but they didn't even bother doing that. But I did have a great idea for a tag team. WWE can steal it if you want. Pirate Empresses. Why not? Call the team Pirate Empresses. Well, I think that's the best name you can give them. So for me, because it was like a 2 minute match, at least Kairi Sane looked good. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. Next up, we did get 2 superstars who moved from Raw to SmackDown. One which happened last week, and one which happened yet on SmackDown on that show, because it was a big surprise for me, was Chad Gable versus Jinder Mahal. Yes, Jinder Mahal is back on SmackDown. I wasn't too happy with that, was not thrilled, but thankfully the match didn't happen. We had a Lars Sullivan rampage. He attacked Chad Gable, he attacked the Singh brothers, and then R-Truth came out to stop Lars Sullivan. R-Truth tried his best, but Lars Sullivan's power just too much for him, and he just devastated R-Truth. This is good. I really like this. I know it sounds really weird. We didn't get a Jinder Mahal Chad Gable match. That's fine. Let's be honest. The only person I would be interested in seeing in that match would be Chad Gable, but he hasn't been booked that well on Raw or SmackDown over the years, so no loss there. But the Lars Sullivan bit makes him feel like a beast. He's dangerous not just to, you know, veteran wrestlers now, but to everyone, and he's going to attack anyone on the mid-card division. Feed him the lower mid-card. That's fine. Let him feast on those guys. Make him destroy everyone you need to. But this is a great way to build up a big monster of your own on SmackDown Live. You have Braun Strowman on Raw. You now have Lars Sullivan, who is now the heel version of Braun. Doesn't care who he goes after and will attack everyone in the process. I really like this. So for me, even though, you know, it's a standard heel thing to do, I think it's the best thing to do with Lars Sullivan. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, we were supposed to have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. I know, again, but we had Charlotte come out, she cut a promo, she talks about how Becky constantly talks about her on social media, on Raw, and, you know, she's obsessed with her, but, you know, she's in Becky's head. Becky Lynch and her come out, there's a good promo between the two there. They talk about, you know, the rivalry. Becky's just sick and tired of Charlotte Flair. Charlotte goes after Lacey Evans. I'm coming for my title. I'm winning it, but I never lost it. You didn't pin me. You pinned Ronda Rousey, and that should be it. Really good promo. Bayley comes out after Becky mentions of Bayley, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ember Moon, Mickie James, those new opponents Becky really wants to take on. She's sick and tired of fighting Charlotte. Bayley does come out. She cuts a really good promo there by Bayley on this segment, where she's sick and tired of Charlotte just thinking she's entitled to every title shot possible, and she challenges Charlotte to a match that night. The winner would become #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title. Charlotte does agree. They have a match. The match itself is really good. Again, Bayley feels a lot more, I've got to say, intense, and I like it. I like this new a really good build for the match for Charlotte. She really works the leg on Bayley. Bayley's been able to counter it a few times, even though selling the leg again. Bayley's really good at that. She's one of the rare superstars whose selling is always good. She does forget sometimes, but when she is selling, she does sell. You get a bit concerned, which is great. It looked like Charlotte was going to miss, and it could have been Bayley, but Charlotte did get the win with a spear on Bayley. Charlotte is #1 contender. Becky Lynch announced backstage that she will have 2 matches at Money in the Bank. One against Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's title, and the second match will be against Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. So I've got a feeling Becky will probably lose one of the belts at Money in the Bank. That's fine. The only gripe I have of this is I think the creative team and everyone's kind of getting that feeling. We're all a bit sick of Charlotte versus Becky matches now. Yeah, we're still booked another one. And I think it should have been Bayley who should have won. I think that's my personal opinion, but I think Bayley should have won. Give her a title shot. Maybe a bit too soon, I know, but it would have been good to see that kind of build up between, another member of the 4 Horsewomen taking on Becky Lynch. So for me, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. It could have been a 4 if Bayley had won. Then this moves us on to the main event for SmackDown Live, where we saw Kofi Kingston taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. This is Kofi's first singles match since winning the WWE title at WrestleMania. We had Rusev in Shinsuke's corner, and then we had Big O, Kevin Owens, and Xavier Woods in Kofi's corner. But they weren't really in the corner. They had their New Day booth up, so they were doing their commentary in there. The match itself was really good. Shinsuke really impressed me. This is probably one of Shinsuke's better matches. Kofi really kind of pulls out some really great matches when he wants to. A few times Shinsuke did a really good little heel things where he slowed down the match a lot. You're like, oh, come on, Shinsuke. But it is smart. It's smart by Shinsuke. He's slowing down the match. He's getting the crowd more and more irritated because it's more grappling. Then you get Kofi's burst of energy throughout the match in little bits where it looks like he's going to start dominating, and Shinsuke pulls it off again when he starts slowing down the match. Really smart, really smart. It looked like Kofi was going to get the win with the SOS, but Rusev got involved. He stopped the pinfall. That ended the match. Kofi won by disqualification. That's fine. That allows Rusev and Shinsuke now to concentrate on the tag team titles, because I think that's where they're going to focus on there. But Xavier Woods and Big O come out to help. Well, they come out of the booth. They help take down Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. It looks like Shinsuke's going for Kofi. Kofi pushes Kevin Owens out of the way to help him hit Shinsuke Nakamura with Trouble in Paradise. Next thing we know, Kevin Owens does what Kevin Owens is always best at. He turns heel really, really well. He super kicks Kofi in the face, starts beating down Kofi, rips off the New Day shirt with a Kevin Owens shirt on there, and just absolutely destroys Kofi Kingston. Takes the WWE title, which is in the corner, starts shouting at Kofi, "You think you deserve us? You don't deserve us." Absolutely just destroy. About to power bomb Kofi onto the side apron. Xavier was for the save. Kofi's out cold at this point. Kevin takes out Xavier, picks him up, power bombs him onto the side of the ring apron. Obviously that's the hardest part, it's the most dangerous part there. And here we go. Kevin Owens, not just gone from the New Day member, has gone from temporary New Day member to biggest heel on SmackDown to #1 contender in one night. Just brilliant writing, brilliant writing. I loved this. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The match was good, the turn was fantastic. We expected it last week, we got it this week, and he worked with New Day for part of it, so you just didn't expect it to happen as well. And when it did happen, you were just like, oh, you smart, you had us, Kevin, you had us. So for me, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 with everything involved with it. It just was just works out so well. And there you go, guys, that was Raw and SmackDown for this week. So what am I going to give the scores for Raw? Well, I think Raw was a very good show. It built up a lot of storylines, with especially Lacey Evans for the women's title, and Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. The matches were all really good. There was, apart from the Alicia Fox and Becky Lynch one, but we'll forget about that. And everything else was, you know, either standard or very good. So for me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 for Raw. SmackDown Live, I think, was, again, a lot of it was decent. A lot of it was really good. The Finn Balor Andrade, please continue that feud. Again, I think Andrade should have won, but if we can still continue the feud, please do. I think Shinsuke versus Kofi, brilliant match, and Kevin Owens' heel turn was absolutely brilliant. Bayley's more aggressive nature, I really like that. I think that was fantastic as well. So I'm going to give SmackDown a 3 out of 5. So we don't have a winner this week for Raw versus SmackDown, but who cares? It was a great week for for WWE wrestling for me. But what was your favourite part of Raw and SmackDown, guys? Leave it in the comments below. And if you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. And if you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at Smack Talk YouTube. That's a U and a tube. And if you want to follow this guy on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.